right. Welcome, you guys. Happy Wednesday. We were just chit-chatting here a few minutes before we actually went live, and it looks like we might look a little wonky over on IG. So I'm going to try to fix that while we get rolling. But for those of you, this is your first time. Can you see Phenom? Are we wonky looking on IG?
Let me see. Let me hop on your. Um, I can only see you on IG.
Only see me. Okay, grid. Now what does it look like?
Now I can only see my. Now I can only see myself.
That's all right. I think it's just going with the now can you see us?
It's like half of us.
Oh my gosh, you guys. So we're testing out a new software, Riverside. It's not new for Phenom. He's used it. But I've actually never used it to go live. I use it strictly to, and none of this is going to work. Let's see. I strictly use it for podcast recording, and it's wonky looking.
I'm gonna I've never streamed on IG with it, but I have done LinkedIn and whatnot. But let's see.
We're going to do what we're going to do, you guys, because you can hear all of this. We're going to do where the speaker that's talking, you can see that person full, and then it'll switch. Okay. It is smart enough to do that because I don't want you to miss anything that Phenom says. I don't want you to be distracted by only seeing half our face. But technology, right? So I am super excited, though, to have Phenom here today with me as a guest. And if you missed yesterday's podcast episode that drops, definitely go in, drop 157 in the comments wherever you're watching this, because right now we are actually streaming multiple places at one time. Drop 157 in the comments. We'll DM you the link. That way you can get a longer version of his just expertise, because what he spoke about in that episode was absolutely incredible. But I wanted today to come live with him so that we can answer questions around branding that you might have. So if you have any, feel free to drop them in the comments. Let us know. I'm going to be trying to manage all the comments especially on Facebook and Instagram while we're live. And then I want to just dig into this because he shared so many golden nuggets on the podcast episode about, his story. And it goes from, working with Major League Baseball to ESPN to Apple. It's absolutely incredible. So he said something in the episode that just took me by storm and said how much your personal brand increases opportunities. So let's start with that first, if that works for you. Share with us a little bit about how, because we talk so much in online business specifically, that's majority of my audience is entrepreneurs that are building online. We talk about branding, and a lot of times there's this conception about your logo and your fonts and all of these things, and we dove in that in the episode. But can you really bring us to life here of your personal brand and what that means and how that opens doors and opportunities?
Yeah, of course. So I think some people that we can that we see right now in the public eye, right? So let's just say, for example, Elon Musk, right? You either love him or you hate him. And if you love him, then you probably have stock in Tesla. You probably maybe even have a Tesla car. And if you don't like him, you probably cannot stand every single Cybertruck that that goes by you, right? You're laughing because you know it's true. So that's the business aspect of it. But for a person to feel such emotion towards a business, right, it's because of the person that's running it, because of their brand. And when you think about that on a smaller scale for any type of business that I'm running, that you're running, that anybody that's listening to this is running at the moment, people may support you just solely because they love you as a person. They don't care what your product is, right? You want those people to love you like your mom does, hopefully. So you want to be able to build that type of trust, and that brand will take you so far in business. And on the flip side, whenever you come across a business that doesn't have a brand that's truly built, or you don't necessarily know who the CEO is or who really built this company, you may be weary of supporting it, right? You may buy the product once and you may never buy it again. But again, if you know who that person that built the brand, you really enjoy that person, what they stand for, their values, their mission, then you'll be a returning customer.
Yes. Okay. I wanted to unmute myself to make sure that I wasn't over here going, and y'all couldn't actually hear him. If you know me, you know me. But so many golden nuggets. So I want to dissect what you just said. First and foremost, I totally agree that like with Elon Musk's example, right? People love him or they hate him. And a lot of times it's based on not necessarily their own agenda, but like you said, like they might have stock in Tesla. If you hate them, every cyber truck that passes by, you're like cringing. I agree. And I think there's a lot of different aspects of your personal brand of why people could love you too, right? Because I don't own stock in Tesla, actually. I really wish that I did. I probably should, but I love his persistence and like the other elements of his brand too. I still do cringe at every Cybertruck that passes by though, because they're ugly as hell. I'm sorry, but they're just like, what Lego box did this come out of? This is awful. But I love him as his mind. I might not agree with everything he does, but you're right. It builds loyalty behind that person. And it's funny that you said you want to build a brand that, people love you like your mama, because I actually just did some content around this. I told you I was going to Cancun when you and I recorded that episode, and we went down there, and one of the artists, so this is a very, very famous, very successful, new country artist. And he got so drunk, he had to jumped into the pool. He could not sing a tune in a bucket. It was terrible. And people were coming and defending him in the private Facebook group like it was a Hunger Games. Like, give him grace. He's so young. Oh my gosh, we still love you. And I'm like, you definitely did not get the show you paid for. Okay, y'all all spent all this money to fly all the way to Mexico and you got nothing. Like, but you're accurate. Like when people love you as a person, they love your story, they love your journey. I'm like, these people are like, he's so young, give him grace. I'm like, dude, he's 21 years old. He's an adult, but like, or he's 24 actually, but you're absolutely right. I witnessed that in person, like in real life. It happened. And I was going, what the hell is wrong with all y'all, but like people fought for him. Give him another chance or give him, they really did. So I just talked about that. And then to hear it come out of your mouth, I'm like, oh my God, it was like deja vu all over again in Cancun. So I want to talk about what are some ways, I'm tactical. I'm like, give me the action steps, right? What are some ways that people can, really build their brand? Because I know in the episode, I don't want to give all of the episode away. We talked about, you gave some tactical things on people, what they can do to help discover their brand, doing that brand audit, doing that personal audit. You gave action steps. So if you need those, make sure you drop 157 in the comments. We'll get you the link to the episode. But once they discuss, they're like, okay, I know this is my brand. I know this is my, my personal brand statement. This is what people are saying about me. What's next?
Need to be comfortable, get comfortable with authentically being yourself.
Yeah.
That is honestly what's next. That comes from sharing your story,
Okay.
sharing your triumphs, sharing your challenges, right? And everything in between. Because when we think about building a brand, whether it's a personal brand or a business brand, people want to see the roller coaster. They want to go. People love roller coasters in general, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thrill. It's a thrill.
People will go to an amusement park to get on a roller coaster. So if they love the physical roller coaster, it's a reminder that they also love the mental roller coaster as well.
Yeah.
People like to see, like, okay, this company, yes, I see that they weren't doing well, and then they spoke about it. Then they talked about how they had to pivot, and then now they're progressing. Same thing when it comes to an individual and their personal brand. I see, let's just say, for example, a post that I made probably like mid last year. I got into a car accident. Somebody rear-ended me. So that took away a lot of my income from having to go out to different places like broadcast and stuff like that. And it forced me to lean into more remote work, which now I'm doing. I haven't left the house in like 6 days. My,
Yeah.
my before my wife left for work work today, she was like, "Please go outside, like
Yeah, like
please."
put your feet on the grass or
Yeah.
something.
Now,
Yes.
granted, I worked out still. Don't get me wrong. There's a
Yeah.
gym at the bottom, right? So
Yeah.
I strategically chose this building because the gym's at the bottom. But anyway, I say all that to say people love to see the progression, the challenges, because it reminds them that you are human as well, right? In this social media
Yeah.
age, this digital age, so many people try to make everything look perfect, and that's not real life. So they
Right.
want to feel relatable. They want to feel seen. And the only way that you can help them feel that way is if you put them through that roller coaster that you're also going through as well.
Yes. Okay. So let's dissect this before we get into anything deeper, because you said so many gold nuggets I want to bring attention to again. So you said first and foremost, sharing your story, the challenges, the triumphs, all of it. And this is actually a conversation I had with one of my students recently in the academy, is that she was, very fearful of putting content out there that showed losses because she was fearful it would lose authority or not present her as the expert. And I had that same conversation with her. So I know that's a fear a lot of people have, is to show those challenges. And one thing I talk about a lot in my content is, you have to show that transformation. And the beautiful thing about it is, with a story and a journey, like you said, there's going to be multiple transformations, right? And so you guys take that in, absorb that, and know that showing your failures does not discredit you. Honestly, it shows courage and bravery and confidence that you can get back up. Because if someone was afraid they couldn't get back up, they wouldn't share it, right? And so I also heard you say, or kind of leaning into that, being your authentic self, being vulnerable. And I'll say from experience, if there was ever a post or a reel, a TikTok, doesn't matter, that I was like, oh God, I really am oversharing here. Like, I shouldn't be putting this out there. That's the one that hits every single time. That vulnerability hits every single time. And that's scary as fuck. Like, it is very scary to air your dirty laundry, and definitely don't go put anything out there that hurts your safety or anything. But every time you get vulnerable enough to not just be surface level, but talk about your emotions going through the process too, it has hit a win for me. And it might not be validated in the comments or by the engagement, but the DMs. And that is something too, right? The people that come in my DMs and was like, I needed to hear this today. Like, I can relate. This is also happening to me, or I've been through this. So I'm just so glad that you validated that too for me and for my audience, that vulnerability always wins. And one other thing I want to touch on that you just said, because I keep going back to Cancun here, which, hold on, sidestep, ADHD here, but Phenom just got married. Congratulations. So if y'all
Thank
drop some
you.
like champagne emojis in the chat for me, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, drop us some champagne, some wedding rings. Like, he just got married. He was about to get married when we recorded the podcast episode. And then you just called her your wife. And I'm like, oh, so
It happened. Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank
But
you. Thank
one
you.
other thing he said I want to draw attention to before we get to the next, gut punch question. So he said that it makes you look human to people. And that was something too that I shared about. I've got an episode coming up on the podcast next month about the Crash My Play experience. But I told the story in the TikTok and in the carousel, is that was one reason people love or hate these celebrities, these, people that were on stage, even though that one got so drunk, he jumped in the pool. It made him look human to people, right? You're in the pool with a drink. He's on stage with a drink. Everybody's drinking. And some of them didn't need to be drinking, but it brought him down on a human level, right? Celebrities and a lot of these big brands, we idolize them. And that's why people pay to go back to that shit show every single year, because it ain't for the music, it's for the humanization. And I love that you just said that, because that's like one of my favorite words to use, to humanize things. So, all right. Once we get comfortable, okay, we get comfortable with our brand. After we do our brand audit, we're like, okay, this is who I am. I'm going to show up real, raw, like I'm just going to be myself. Are there any tips you could give for people to go out and find opportunities? Like, obviously content, because you're getting out there, you're building an audience, but what are some things that you would tell them to do daily to look for opportunities? Because I mean, took your brand and found opportunities with massive brands. You've written books, you've, done TED Talks, all of those things. So like, what are some ways what are some things they should be doing every day to kind of look for these opportunities and not just wait for them to come to them?
You still taking action on those tips
Yes,
that
I
I
am
gave?
working on the TED Talk. I'm working on that. You guys, he gave me a ton of tips on getting approved for a TED Talk. So
Awesome.
I've got the Google Alerts set up. Okay, I did that. I've started kind of scripting it out. I don't want to apply for one until my book's actually launched, because I want my book to be. Should I do that or should I not?
I
We could
think
side
you.
note after that, after this
Okay.
call.
Yeah.
But yes, I am.
So
I am an executioner. Okay, so
good. I love it. I love it. So the next thing will be figure out or find opportunities that align with you. All right. So figure out what companies align with your values, your morals, your missions, what events are happening that align with you. And once you find those different opportunities, that's when you start shooting your shot. You start crafting your message. You start crafting your story, right? And how are you going to be able to add value to this event, to this company, to this person, this post, collaboration, whatever it is. So essentially align your values, your mission with XYZ that you're trying to find
okay.
opportunities, because you can't wait for opportunities to come to you, right? You
Mhm.
have to go to the opportunities. Like now, granted, I am very fortunate. I do have opportunities that do find their way into my inbox, but that's through like 5, 6 years of SEO.
Yeah.
But the majority of my opportunities, I'll be lying if I said that they didn't come from, me actually doing outreach. I have to do outreach. So it takes a
Yes.
lot of outreach. You have to put up your shots. So you put up 100 shots a week, maybe you'll get 5 to 10 people that you hear back from, and then two that actually go in. So
Yes, yes. So you guys, listen to what he said. Okay. If you want, whether it be opportunities, customers, clients, doesn't matter. The fastest way to do that is outreach. Okay. And that doesn't mean spamming people. You need to be comfortable enough with your brand to show up in their inbox, show up in their email, whatever that is, and say, I have value to offer to your audience. Your audience aligns with my audience, so on and so forth. Let's collaborate, because I think collaborations are huge. And I actually just watched, or no, I listened to a podcast episode, I think it was by Jenna Kutcher. And she talked about, she's got millions of followers, a huge brand. She's been doing this for a decade, but how she got featured in Oprah's weekly, and they didn't just reach out to her. She pitched them, right? And this is Jenna's got a massive brand. So like, you've got to think about what are some companies, some brands that align, like he said, with your mission, your vision, your values, and be comfortable enough to pitch them,
and
right?
the thing with the pitching is it's more direct and it catches people's attention more,
Yeah.
because when you think about it, people are scrolling through social media all day, every day. Let's
Hmm.
be honest. They can easily scroll past your posts, not think twice about it. Prime example, remember, I had just messaged you. I think it was earlier today. I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I just seeing as I'm off social media, right?" But that's
Yeah.
because I am in the process of taking a lot of my stuff offline, except for LinkedIn and YouTube, and building out a newsletter. So
Nice.
because with everything going on with social media, I was like, you know what? I can't trust the algorithm anymore. I can't trust these platforms. I'm going back to a newsletter. So, and we're talking about, being technical and, taking
Yeah.
action. What I'm doing right now is I'm reaching out to 50 people a day and I'm saying, hey, I have a newsletter on personal branding. Let me know if you'd be interested in this. It's going to be bi-weekly. I'm going to send you something for free as well. That way, I can actually get in these people's inboxes every single day. Because again, we think about pitching. If you try to pitch with just content every single day on social media, the algorithm may not always work in your favor. That person may not get on social media every single day. And by the time they do get on social media, they may not see the post. It was a point in time I was posting every single day, and my wife was like, I ain't seen none of your posts. It had been like a week.
Yeah.
Posting
Yeah.
every single day. My
Yeah.
best friend was like, I didn't see anything. So Things like that. It gets directly in front of the consumer, the collaborator, the person that's going to cut the check. You feel me? So
Right,
you need
exactly.
the outreach.
Exactly. So if they want to get on your newsletter, how do they do that?
I don't have the link on my Instagram because like I said, I just
Okay.
re-downloaded it today. But just DM me on Instagram at Phenom Speaks and just say newsletter, and I got you.
Nice. Perfect. So you guys, I mean, he's an expert with branding. So definitely if this is something that you need to really work on, and I don't know many people that don't, right? Because your brand's always evolving. So continuing to stay plugged into that and being true to yourself and true to your personal brand, always super valuable. So, and I agree. I mean, the algorithms have just, I mean, they give me whiplash. Like some days it is popping. I can't keep up with the comments. I'm like, okay, I got to shut this down for today. And some days it's like, anybody out there? Like,
Oh,
where you at?
even prime example. So we're live on Instagram and where else right now?
Uh, it says we're live on Facebook, but it won't actually let me see any comments. I could check that on my
Okay.
phone.
So right, this is when we think about different platforms and the reason why different algorithms, they have a large impact.
Right.
I would free branding tip. I would encourage you to, instead of Instagram, go on Facebook, maybe even try to go live on LinkedIn more. Because the cool thing with LinkedIn, you can set an event, right? You know
Yeah.
how Instagram does the event within like the story. You can actually set an event on LinkedIn and you can message, I want to say 25 people. I mean, you can invite 25 people a day. I think that's the max to
Mhm.
the event. So let's just say even if you do it for a week, right? You have over 100 people that you have invited that will
Nice.
get the invite notification. And
Yeah.
if they miss it, they can watch the recap instantly all on LinkedIn without leaving the platform. But
Yeah.
it's just all about figuring out what algorithms work for people,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
And I
then
think we are live on LinkedIn too, FYI. But
don't tell me that.
I think
That's
we
the only
are.
platform I'm on right now.
Look, this is like it says we are on Riverside, but again, I've never actually streamed from Riverside. This is new. He's my guinea pig. No, it says we're live in Riverside, but I don't see it.
Did you know you can practice going live without going live?
Yes, I did on Instagram and Facebook before we did this, but
Okay. Okay.
not on LinkedIn.
Baby steps.
But
Baby steps.
But I can stream it to LinkedIn after this. We won't technically be live, but we will. And I'll still do that. So, all right. Last thing, and if anybody has questions for Phenom, please drop them in the chat. Okay, perfect. I see one from Cindy. If you have anything about branding, let us know. He's here to help. He's here to answer questions. If you missed the podcast episode that he and I did, drop 157 in the comments. We will get you the link as soon as it should DM you, but I'm not sure if I set up the trigger to work on lives. So if it doesn't, I will definitely get you the link as soon as we get off of here. But I want to ask, like, if you have questions for branding, you guys, now is the time, okay? Because I'll tell you this, based on the DMs I get daily, based on what I hear in, my programs and in my free community, there's a lot of people that really are struggling with feeling good in their content, feeling authentic in their content. And that comes down to knowing your personal brand, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All day long, knowing your personal brand. I don't care how pretty your Canva graphics are. I don't care what font you're using. I don't care what, trending audio you have. If you have no brand, you're just it's noise is all it is. Okay. So just know that.
Oh,
Cindy's asking,
go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I got out of a one-on-one with a student right before this.
Yeah.
And her thing was she was scared to post on LinkedIn because she felt as if that she didn't have a personal brand yet. I had to remind her that all of us have a personal brand for one,
Yeah.
but you just need to start documenting your process because people are
Yes.
going to enjoy seeing you grow as a person. That's what's going to make them fall in love with you, whether it's a person that hires you to be a freelancer or a person that's going to hire you to work for their company, right? An employer.
Yeah.
But everyone listen to this, like we've already said, that you have a personal brand, but you definitely need to be out there documenting that process so people can have the
Agree.
opportunity and feel as if they've grown with you. We all seen those creators or celebrities that are popular now. It's like, oh my gosh, I remember when they were first
Right.
in
Exactly.
that first special that was on I can't think of a low grade like streaming platform. Um, what is it's not what is the streaming platform that's free? I think it's like four letters. It's not Hulu.
I have no idea.
Man, oh my gosh. You know what? Forget it.
but
Let's
but
be honest,
there's
grow with you.
what's the UFC fighter that just fought the guy that bites the ears off? Mike Tyson. He started as a YouTube creator. Bailey Zimmerman. What is it called?
Jake.
Jake. Yes, Bailey Zimmerman. The
Yeah.
artist I just talked about. He got
Tubi.
discovered on TikTok. What is it?
Tubi.
Tubi.
You ever
Okay.
heard of Tubi? It's like really low quality movies, and people are like, "Oh, I remember seeing you on Tubi," and now I see you on
No. Okay.
HBO.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, but yeah. What's
No.
the question?
Cindy's asking, do you have any tips for email list growth?
Yeah, of course. Well, does she already have an email list? That's the first.
She's in the process of building.
Cool. So this is actually a challenge that I'm doing with my students right now.
Nice.
So go ahead and join it if you are interested in it. Of course, hopefully you already have your landing page. If not, I would suggest kit.com. You can get started for free, and you can have up to 10,000 people on your subscriber list before you have to pay. And once you create that, make sure that you have a lead magnet or incentive that you're willing to give people, and just do like cold outreach to warm and hot people, right? So your friends, family, acquaintances. For example, this is the exact message that I am sending out to people right now. Hey, I know this is random, but I'm stepping away from social media, except for LinkedIn and YouTube this year to focus more on some of my goals. So I'm getting back to my roots of email newsletters to still stay connected. I'm focusing on a weekly or bi-weekly newsletter. I'm not sure which one yet, about establishing a personal brand for advancing careers, whether it's corporate entrepreneurship and freelance opportunities. Let me know if this is something that you're interested in. If so, I'm also going to send over a personal brand checklist as a thank you, right? Tailor that to whatever you are doing and let the responses start flowing in. You'll start building your email list that way, so you can just get comfortable with having a list, writing better copy within the content of your email, writing better headlines. You want to get good at this type of stuff before you get massive, because you don't want to have a list of 10,000 people but you don't know how to treat them. So get good with the list of 50 to 100 before you really start scaling to like 1,000, 10,000, whatnot. But that is my tactical tip on how to get started right now with your email list 0 to 100. You're muted.
There we are. If they already have an email list, I still recommend. I love the outreach idea. Like that is something absolutely. Like if you see, like he said, people in real life, and then also if you see people commenting on your, like you see somebody comment 2 or 3 times, don't be afraid to DM and say, hey, I have an email list or I have a newsletter. This is what I do. What is your recommendation for them? Let's say I got 50 people on my list. Do you recommend them just building like value emails right now, just sharing like references and things like that? Or what would that strategy be to get them engaged? Because you said start practicing with a smaller group. What would you say for that?
So I'm gonna also suggest a book along with this, and it's Gary V's Jab, 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 Right Hook. All right. So the concept of this book, to answer your question, also related to what we're talking about, is you want to give, right? Jab, 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 and then ask for that the ask, right? To knock the knockout punch, the right hook. So yes, you do want to start with the value, provide them with value, because the last thing anybody wants every single time they open up their inbox is to be sold every single day from multiple companies. It's already happening. Let's be honest. You're already getting multiple promotional emails. So you want them to open up their email inbox, and when they see your name, your business company, whatever it is, be like, ah, yes, I can't wait to see, what she's talking about today, the value, blah, blah, blah. Right. So yes, lead with value first, and then save for the launches. That way, when you do have the launch, you can go hard. So let's just say you start off with, let's just say a weekly newsletter, straight value, and you do that for 8 weeks, right? And on that 8th week, you let them know, hey, I'm about to drop my checklist, or I'm about to drop my course or my book. Boom, you're hitting them up every single day for 14 days straight to let them know that this is going. Of course, you're still adding some value in it, but you're doing a hard launch. Will you lose some subscribers? Possibly, because they're like, oh, I'm tired of seeing these emails. But you're going to get the sales, and then you want to go back to the value led driven emails.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And I agree with what you said as far as like losing some people. You will. Every time you send some promotional emails or some sales emails, you will. But that is 1,000% why your email list is not just to sell, it's also to nurture. So if the only time they're hearing from you is when you have a sale or something is sold, they're definitely going to unsubscribe. So I love that 100%. And I actually just did content. Man, you must have looked at my IG feed before we got on here, because I just dropped a carousel today.
Not on IG though. That's the crazy thing. But
I
do
know,
see
I
your LinkedIn post. I do see that though about
Yeah.
email.
Yeah. So I actually just dropped a carousel today about a client I worked with. We increased their open rates from 25 to 28% for every single email, social media growth month over month. And it was all their branding is what it was. Everything was so bland and so generic and so promotional. And when we started putting in parts of their brand, and this was actually an in-person business, but we took the owner of the business, we took what would her personal brand be, and we breathed that into the brick and mortar. And so we started writing emails like it was a conversation between her and a client. We started the social media posts. It was more conversational. It was all well branded. It was just more value packed. We increased, like I said, their open rates, and open rates are everything, because if people don't open your emails, they don't know what's inside of them. So, it's that simple, but I love this. This is gold. So any other tips that you could give, or anything you want to leave us with? I just wanted to bring you on today to really, show your face, because our, podcast is all listening, and get you on social media, even if it's just for today. But, anything you can leave us with. And as always, you guys, if you didn't grab that episode, drop 157. We'll make sure you get that link to listen in. But last thoughts.
One, thank you for bringing me back into the digital world for
Of course.
2 hours.
Yeah. Right?
Nah, I definitely connected with you on LinkedIn, because I see you're active on LinkedIn. So we're definitely going to be connected up there. And
Yes.
have more conversations up there. But to leave everyone today, I want to say, let everything going on with social media right now be a lesson about making sure that you have your audience, that you own your audience. Mm-hmm. And let owning your audience be whether you have an email list, whether you have a community, right? Whether you have them on Substack. But you don't want to put all of your weight on one social media platform, because when somebody moves that desk and you're leaning on it too heavily, then you're going to fall over. You want to always be able to support yourself. So
yeah, and we saw that with the whole TikTok anxiety, whatever happened earlier this month. I couldn't even keep up.
That's what made me delete social media, to be honest. It just put a bad taste in my mouth between TikTok, Instagram. I'm not even on Threads anymore right now. I'm just on everything.
Well, that explains why I tagged you and all this stuff, and I'm like, where is he? So
I promise you, I wasn't ignoring you.
No, but I'm 100% behind what you said, because you have to own, and this is actually something I'm working on my own business as well, is, I have a Facebook community with thousands of people in there, and I've gone back and forth of, should I move it to my hub, which is what I use, which is, a private community, kind of like school, but it's not school. What should I do here? Because I mean, that it used to be popping. The engagement was insane in there because people were seeing what I was sharing, and I'm pouring in tips every single day in there. So that's definitely something I've been also. I'm like Q2. It's gotta be shifted. It's gotta be
Have you
moved
asked them?
because I don't want my audience to just sit there. So yeah, I'm in the process of building it all now, and then I'll start putting content out there to transition. And the beautiful thing about it is, yes, I know that not all 3,000, 4,000, whatever, however many people are in there are going to come over, but the ones that want to connect and they love my brand and they want to be part of the community absolutely will. So I'm also going to kind of do some spring cleaning in the process, which I
I'm gonna
don't mind.
also give another thing that,
Yeah.
as a marketer, one thing I've noticed in the industry, live streaming is going to get more popular
Yeah.
with newsletters as well.
Yeah.
So wherever you can find a way to live stream, whether it's continuously live streaming on, let's just say, I finally found this live stream on LinkedIn, by the way.
Did you?
Whether, yeah, I just reshared
Good.
it to my network. But
Perfect.
whether
Thank
it's like
you.
live streaming more here on Instagram or on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, right? Because
Yeah.
to have this be a full circle, one thing that we said in the beginning was making yourself more human. And nowadays, the best way to do that is to go live. You can
Yeah.
sit here and post something and AI wrote it. It can be scheduled, whatever it may be. But
Yeah.
we are having a live conversation. There are real people. I hope. I hope nobody's like
Yeah.
bots in the chat. But you have real people in the chat. You have real comments, real discussion, real heart to heart conversations, and that's what makes you human in 2025, which builds the connection, which builds your brand. And that's the last thing I had to say for today.
Love it. Love it. Well, with that being said, like I said, if you didn't listen to the episode, definitely do so. You guys go connect with him on LinkedIn. What is your handle on LinkedIn? Is it Phenom Speaks?
Phillip Phenom Robinson.
All right. And I'll come in the comment section of Instagram and everywhere and drop his link to LinkedIn as well. Connect with him over there and really plug in. I would 10 out of 10 recommend that you get on his newsletter, especially since he's going all in. I can imagine how much value is going to be in there. Okay. But thank you so much, Phillip, for just spending some time with me between interviewing for your podcast, interviewing for my podcast, and then now this. Like, you and I are becoming besties at this point, and I love it. I love your energy. I love just your story, and it really is inspiring to see how, building into yourself and building that personal brand is what you need to do to get the results you want in your business brand.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys, until next time, I'll
Yes,
see you
sir.
soon. Make it simple, make it social, make it awesome. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Says stopping, so we'll
We
see. All right. Where did you find it on LinkedIn?
I don't